angry, sad, or annoyed, if gmrs has made you feel pathetic because you can't find the tones to the repeaters you wish to destroy, maybe you should find a mental health professional who can help. God, go to a therapist and ask for help. Seriously, ask for real, professional help. Hopefully, in the future, you'll feel better and be able to enjoy the remainder of your life. We all wish you the best of luck with your problem.
So this message starts out, this is the 650 high power repeater, it's August 3rd, and then it says that. So I just miss it when it says the date. This guy is delusional, psycho. Tim Rose, 650 repeater.
The time is 6:31 p.m. Today is Monday, August 3rd. If you're hearing this and it makes you feel angry, sad, or annoyed, if gmrs has made you feel pathetic because you can't find the tones to the repeaters you wish to destroy, maybe you should find a mental health professional who can help. God, go to a therapist and ask for help. Seriously, ask for real, professional help. Hopefully, in the future, you'll feel better and be able to enjoy the remainder of your life. We all wish you the best of luck with your problem.
He put a crowd cheering behind that one. So see, look, people are hitting the button on them right now, right? That's people keying up. All my other radios are off. These two are looking for tones. This one is right here's the mic, so I'm not hitting no buttons. So this guy is a delusional psychopath, Tim Rose, who has caused trouble on the radio for the last 5.5 years. And so they stomped on a few of my conversations on the 725 for the last 2 weeks. So I got the tones to his 650 because he started this on 575 GMRS repeater, and that's where it all started. And then when I left the 575, they followed me around to every repeater. And then I went to Simplex and they got even more mad. And then I went to ham radio, and Tim Rose, Steve Morales, Barry Lilith, and Mark Algie all went to ham the day I got my license and started this same bullshit campaign for the last 3 years since I've had my licenses. So
it's 6:33 p.m. Today is Monday, August 3rd. If you're hearing this and it makes you feel angry, sad, or annoyed, if gmrs has made you feel pathetic because you can't find the tones to the repeaters you wish to destroy, maybe you should find a mental health professional who can help. God, go to a therapist and ask for help. Seriously, ask for real, professional help. Hopefully, in the future, you'll feel better and be able to enjoy the remainder of your life. We all wish you the best of luck with your problem.
So this is like 4 minutes long right now. And that was the third time in 4 minutes. There's a standard on GMRS for repeater owners, when and how long your identifier and what your identifier can say. And so he's clearly breaking those rules. But again, like I was saying before I was interrupted by this psychopath's repeater identifier coming at me again. It all started with Tim Rose, and then he acquired help by spreading lies and this false narrative, and said all this negative things about me when I was having people meet up at, Einstein's Bagels and giving out radios and antennas and helping people out in the hobby.
301 got your radio check.
That was a one-sided radio check by this guy. I know there's a lot of alcoholism involved in the valley here and on GMRS, but this guy Tim and Carlos and Steve and Mark Algie These people are an extra level type of psychopath. Tim Rose is a manipulating narcissist. He gets on the air and says things like he's entitled to cross-band because he's a first call, which is something that ended 30, 40 years ago. This guy is clearly delusional. He tells people he owned the Coventry Motors on 12th Street in Elm. And Google says Jamie Har Ltd. owned Coventry Motors. But every night he would get on the 575 and lie to 16 guys and say, I have to get up for work in the morning. I own a shop and I have to go toil around and try to fix cars. If you read his Google and Yelp reviews for Coventry Motors for Tim Rose, it's owned by Jamie Har, and Tim Rose has been called a paint huffer. Like a job came in, look at the Google review for a valve job, and all they did was paint his motor so they can get high in the shop while they were sniffing the motor with paint. So these are real other people's reviews, right? And look at that APX. That thing is sick. Anyway, this guy Tim is the cause of all of this radio trouble. He started with Ham Radio Hack like 5 years ago, and then it was Mark Algie, and then it was Sam, and then it was me. So like in the last 5 years, I'm the fourth victim of tiny, timid Tim Rose. And so now if you Google who owns this shop, it's on 32nd Street and it's owned by Greg Nell. So Greg Nell bought Jamie Har Ltd.'s, bad debt over at the Huffentry Motors, where they'll service your glory hole and paint your motor. But needless to say, Tim Rose, it all leads back to Tim Rose. This guy is a psychopath and started a campaign against me. That's how narcissists work. They put their target on somebody. And so he has enlisted everybody. See this? Like, I'm the cause of the interference though, but yet I'm not. Here's one phone in the hand and here's the other hand. It's not me. It's not me. But the story is, that's me. I'm Tinkerbell. I'm the one who's causing all the interference and blah, blah, blah. So, here's the fucking truth. But, they don't like the truth. They hate the truth, in fact. So Tim gave James 736 a 100-watt radio, and Carlos Brito a fucking 100-watt radio, and Jacob Akers a 100-watt radio, and somebody else. 4 radios were given out just to follow me around and stomp out all my conversations for the last 3 years. Because I didn't want to go away quietly to Tim Rose's lies and manipulation and two-faced phony fuck. Tim Rose lies to these people every day with his fake accent. When we were all sitting around the table at Einstein's, I invited Tim Rose. And he gave himself up in front of 13 other complete strangers at this table at Einstein's, and they were elbowing me and said, yo, Gil Betchel asked me, he goes, where's his accent? Steve Rose is like, he talks like a Texan. So Steve Morales, so these people have caught him in so many lies, but yet these weirdos who are behind Tim Rose and come after me daily and interrupt conversations I'm having on any frequency, they believe his bullshit, and that's the problem. That's the cancer of it. So yeah, pass this YouTube video around and show off my pretty cool fucking APX. That thing's badass. I don't know if I told you that already. But there we go. See, I didn't say anything back, right, after that last identifier. And so it hasn't gone off again. So they prove my point on a daily basis. They tell on themselves. So this smear campaign, because of manipulative little empty tiny Tim Rose, was threatened by somebody with charisma, and people wanted to reach out and talk to me and meet me and go eat breakfast with me once a month and pass out radios and give out antennas and help anybody.
Announcements are regularly heard here on the Phoenix 650. The time is 6:40 p.m. Thanks for listening. If you are interested in being a member of the Phoenix 650 Full Power, please send an email to ph airwaves.com.
So they attacked this guy, Mark Joseph Algie, a year or so before I got my license. And then Mark Algie wormed his way into my life under the guise of him being a mechanic and an East Coaster and just a lying old psychopath, Mark Joseph Algie. And he's living in Donna DeCaro's garage in Sun City. Well, Mark started a YouTube channel, right, all about me. And he plays half the conversation, right? Like he'll play me exploding on the radio, cursing somebody out, but he doesn't play what caused that, like the death threat or the really racist comment, right? And more death threats and the doxing, giving out my address, them telling people to come rob my house because I flash money on Facebook. And that's Mark Algie keyed up on the 575, gave out my address. First, he was doing it with a recording. Then he had enough of it, and he keyed up, and with his toothless, he has 4 teeth. With his toothless mouth, Mark Joseph Algie keyed up, gave his WRMN661 call sign, and told people my address, and told people to come rob me because I flash money on Facebook. Psycho. That is a psychopath doxing me because I'm standing up to Tim Rose. So very weird. Mark Algie is a giant serial killing psychopath. Mark plays these one-sided recordings on his YouTube channel, but he doesn't play what pressed my buttons, right? Like, you didn't call me a Jewish fucking blah, blah, blah lover. You didn't say, did you teach your blah, blah, blah how to fly when I blow up your house? That was a repeater owner that said that. WRAP 405, Matt Penny. Toothless Matt Penny keyed up on the 575 and said, hey, Scott, did you teach your monkey how to fly? Because when I blow up your house at the gas meter, I was like, that's a serious racist comment and a death threat all in one. And that was WRAP 405, Matthew Penny, toothless truck driver who owned the Towers 600 repeater at the time that he said that. He's also said great things like, this is my repeater, fuck the FCC, it's my rules. Fast forward, Tim Rose just said the same fucking thing a few days ago. So, very sick group of individuals, alcoholic, bipolar, retards with radios, false narrative, Darvo mindset, fucking passing on lies because they want to see a train wreck instead of being men and knocking the shit off and cleaning up what they started. That'll never happen. By the way, that's my badass simplex machine on a Motorola, wrapped in a fan there, keeping it cool. But anyway, so Mark would play these videos of half of the conversation. He won't play the death threat, but he'll play me cursing out the person who just gave me the death threat. And then I'm such a bad guy? Come on. That's gaslighting, Darvo, narcissistic, retarded shit. So when these people were in my face to face, they got shook and called the police. They talk the talk, they can't walk the walk. So there's some facts about the 575 GMRS club that is now, the tiny, timid Tim Rose 650 pyramid scheme where you have to buy $100 pre-programmed radio to talk to your Lord Fauntleroy with the fake accent. Retarded Tim Rose here, the cancer of the GMRS world and the ham world. He's gotten kicked out of the 550 club on GMRS. He's gotten kicked off of ARRL repeaters on ham. He was kicked out of a preparedness club on the ham side because Tim Rose wanted to make the ham response team about himself. He wasn't happy being a member and trying to help people calms down kind of situations, but he joined this group just to see how narcissist he is to make it about himself. So he got kicked out of that group too. Tim Rose has been kicked out of more places than there are places. So, you know, he's got this following that if I'm on the 725 and I'm talking to 811 or I'm talking to my buddy JD275, they stomp on the conversation and then they go back to the 650 and high five about it. And like clearly I can hear like every channel because like I got some radios, right? And they listen to more than one channel each. So come on, man. You know, if you have more than 2 brain cells. So they interrupted a conversation between me and my friend JD last week on the 725 Shaw Butte GMRS repeater, right? And then they go over to the 650 and didn't think I was listening. And Gay Ray, whatever, 298, and this other monster, I think it was either WROK 412 or 868, but 2 of the 650 members stomped out a conversation on the 725 between me and JD, went back to the 650 and talked the most vile shit about my friend JD, and said that they wish he has throat cancer and it sounds like he's almost dead, so he won't be around much longer. That was the conversation. They instantly, after trashing that conversation between me and my friend, went back and said on the 650. So that's the kind of class of people that's, you know, spreading this false narrative, causing problems on other repeaters, and then, you know, not claiming what they did. Like schoolyard bully type shit. And in real life, they can't handle it. They talk that talk behind the microphone and they feel so tough and safe. But when you're in their face, they piss themselves and they call the cops and they say to the police, I'm so scared for my life. Well, you know, you fucking started with somebody that you shouldn't have, and you can't let it go. You can't grow up and you can't own up. So if you're not going to own up to it and you're going to keep, you know, wanting a train wreck and keep false narrative and lying to people and interrupting. See, if you would have let me go, it would have been over. But you followed me around to every frequency for 3 years plus. So it's a wrap now. Here's the video. Here's some truth. And pass it around. Like I said, stand away from this poisonous, cancerous Timmy Rose that used to be on Beth and Tim in the morning. He got fired from that. My friend owns a strip club. He came in there for an interview to be a DJ. After he got fired from the FM radio, Tim Rose went to a strip club to be a DJ, and the strip club personnel said, look, he wanted to play his music. He didn't want to play the strip club music. Again, me. It had to be about Tim Rose, right? Not filling the position that you went in for. You wanted to make it about you. And you got kicked out of there too. You see the pattern here? It's pretty fucking simple. So I'm gonna go upload this to YouTube. Like I said, I hope you pass it around to like everybody you know, and maybe put an end to Tim Rose's cancer on the GMRS and ham frequencies. Amen.